Welcome everyone. We are excited to be here with you on this webinar and learn how to web scrape within Mozenda. My name is Reggie Collins and I am the marketing manager here, and we're just excited to be here with you. Let's give everyone a few minutes to join, those who are running late, a little bit late. While we do that, go ahead and message me your name and where you're from, and we'll see where everyone's from while we wait for others to join the webinar. All right, looks like we have some people joining. We have some from Florida, from Sweden, from Chicago, from Houston, from St. Louis, Israel, Vancouver, from New York. This is excellent. All over the place, from Puerto Rico. All right. Well, we are excited to be here with you. While we wait for other people to join, let me just quickly introduce who's presenting today and the agenda as well. So today we have on the call with me, I have Kenneth Bedwell, who's our lead technical consultant. And if you've had a training or if you maybe talked to support, you've probably talked with him before, and you know that he is an expert at the Mozenda tool. Let's go over our agenda. So today we want to talk a little bit about Mozenda. I'll go over some key terms that you should know when it comes to web scraping with Mozenda. And then Kenneth will actually do a demo on how to web scrape with Mozenda. So that'll be how to start an agent, how to build an agent out, some best practices, how to get the data from the web console, as well as how to export and publish your data. At the end of all of that, we'll have a question and answers session at the end. Just to know, during the webinar, if you have questions, please feel free to chat those into us. We have somebody that will be answering those live in person, and we might incorporate those at the end as well. So go ahead and if you have questions during it, just chat those in and we'll get those answered for you. So before we start, let me tell you a little bit about Mozenda. So we've been around for over 10 years. We service all types of clients, everything from small, medium-sized businesses to large Fortune 500 companies. And just so you know, we have free customer support. It's in-house. You can call, get someone on the phone, you can email, and we can respond to you. And something that also a lot of people don't know is not only we have subscription-based software, but we also have something called managed data services, meaning if you're not wanting to necessarily learn the tool yourself, we can still get you the data that you need. And so with managed data services, we can get you data in your time frame when you need it. Let me go over a couple key terms that'll be good to know before Kenneth takes over. So within Mozenda, we use something called agents. Now, an agent is what you probably know as a bot or the script that actually is scraping the internet, scraping the website that you're looking at. We also have something called an agent builder. This is where the application that you're actually downloading onto your computer, and this is where you'll build out your agents and as well as preview your data before you actually start harvesting that data. And then we also have the web console. The web console is where you can see all your agents and you can customize different options. You can export your data. And this is the cloud-based solution where you can log in and see and access your data from anywhere. So with that, we're excited to have you. If you have questions, please message us. I will go ahead and turn the time over now to Kenneth Bedwell, who will go ahead and give us our demo. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Thanks, Reggie. Excited to be here. So just by talking to a few clients, we've realized that we really want to go back to the basics of web scraping and to share our the term we've been spreading around is some of the best practices to help you be successful in gathering your data. So just to note that the specific case I will be using, it might not be applicable to what you're doing, but what will be applicable is the basic structure, the actions I'm going to be creating. So when we're going through this example, if you're like, oh, this doesn't relate to me at all, necessarily of the, what we're scraping, the data we're scraping, just look at the actions, how I'm capturing the actions and how I'm troubleshooting different things. And that will help you in any industry that you're going through. And we'll cover a couple different industries that are pretty popular in this scrape, and I think that's it's really going to help everybody though in the long run. And we'll start out in the agent builder, and then we're going to move to the web console and publishing and exporting that data. So let's go ahead and move to the agent builder. So hopefully by now you've already downloaded the agent builder and you're able to open it up. If you have any questions with that, we've got some great videos in our help center of how to download and articles, how to download the agent builder. And how to open it up as well. So I've just opened up the Mozenda Agent Builder here, and currently it is in browse mode. What that means is that I can go in and actually surf the internet if I'd like. In other words, I want to go to the destination page of which I want to scrape. So it's one thing that I typically see a lot, or a lot of customers, they start their agent on this Mozenda homepage here, which is fine. You can do that, and then they enter in the URL and load that page. So what is easier and what you can do is actually load up the starting destination page and go to that first, and then start your agent. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to bring in a URL that we're going to be looking at. So the case, or I'd say the business case that we're looking at today is, imagine that you're looking to get some sort of information on TV. So we're going to take the retail side here, which is pretty popular. So we're looking at TVs, and we're looking at our competitors. So we're going to a competitor site, and we're going to get some pricing. We're going to get some of the information about the TVs so that we can help grow our business. Now this basic scenario can be applied, and like I was saying at the beginning, is you're going to use these actions that I'm going to show you to relate to what your industry is going to do. So let's go ahead and bring in that URL. So I'm going to go to my destination page first. Okay, so I'm just pasting in my URL here. Okay, I'm just going to hit enter, put it up at the top, select enter, and it's going to load. All right. So as you can see here, I'm on this particular retail site's selection for TVs, which are found here. Once I am at my destination page, I can now select start a new agent from this page. It's like I was saying before, it's really important that we get to that destination page beforehand, because once I hit start a new agent, I'll then, every time I click on something, Mozenda is going to want me to perform some sort of action. And I'll show you what this looks like. So once I'm ready to go, I'm at the place where I want to start. I'm going to go up to and select start a new agent from this page and select this. Okay, once I do that, a series of these windows will appear. Some people will have theirs customized to different windows and different boxes and different locations. In any case, anytime you'll notice, anytime I click on something, Mozenda is asking me, hey, what kind of action are you trying to do? You know, capture text or name value pair or a table or a list. If you're very new to Mozenda, we'll go through a lot of these in this use case here, so don't worry about understanding them right this second. So just in this example here, and what we're trying to look at is, I want to look at the TVs. So the way Mozenda works is it looks for patterns within the website and captures the data. We call these patterns lists. So for example, I want to capture all of the TVs on this page. So all I need to do is direct Mozenda to look for the pattern of the TVs. Most websites have some sort of pattern or a template that they display information, so it's easy for the user to read or diagnose. So in this example, I obviously know that this is a TV and this is a TV, and you can see it, you know, obviously represented by these lines that separate them. So visually, I know, okay, these are the different lines. Mozenda looks at it in a similar way. However, in the background of the website, in the HTML, it dives in there. We don't need to know HTML to understand what's going on and to capture this pattern. So to capture a pattern or a list, we're simply just going to click and direct Mozenda towards where we want it to locate either the product name or the TVs. So in this particular example, I'm just going to select the first TV here and then select capture a list. So once again, a capture list is a pattern. We're telling Mozenda to look at a pattern. So we're going to say capture list, and you'll notice here at the left side, it's going to say, okay, follow these steps to find the items that you want in your list. So it's saying, okay, you clicked on your first one, so step one's complete. Now click on a similar item. So a similar item would just be a different title. So you notice, if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, scroll down a little bit, but if you notice when I select a second title, you can kind of tell the third title highlights, or if I go over the third title, the second title is highlighted. This is Mozenda recognizing the pattern or the list that you're trying to select. So let's go ahead and select this title, the third one, third, second, it doesn't matter. And we're going to call this product name. Okay, so you'll notice here that I have a list. So Mozenda picked up the entire list of all the products on the page. So if I scroll down, I can validate this. Say, oh, okay, all the way down the bottom, it looks like there's about, so it says 24, so I should have 24 product names down here. And yep, I have 24 product names on this page. So Mozenda's picked up all the titles, that pattern that I've specified. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top again on this web page. So the next thing I want to get that's probably really important for this example is the price. Now, let's take it in a different industry, for example. What if you were just scraping names, list of names? You were going into someone's name and capturing, you just wanted to capture a name of that person or an email address or a phone number or a part number or a product ID number or something like that. These are typical examples I see. The next thing is once you have your pattern identified, Mozenda's already looking in these areas. Now all we need to do is click, point and click, and say capture text. We no longer need to capture a list. Mozenda is going to look at our current pattern and say, okay, now look at over here, once you capture the product name, and capture this and call that price. Mozenda automatically knows that, hey, this is a price because of the dollar sign, and you can either capture it with or without the currency symbol. So we're going to go without. Now, when I select this, what happens? Mozenda says, hey, an element is not found in the list. Well, what is an element? An element is just an item or text that wasn't found. So why would this be occurring in this example? If you notice here that the first product name doesn't have a price, Mozenda is communicating and saying, hey, based on your pattern, and you're saying that price is here, I don't see price here, so there's a problem. So I can either tell Mozenda to do several things. I can either set this as optional, or I can tell Mozenda to error handle. We will not be covering error handling today for other reasons. It's a little more complicated, but it can help. It can work for your example. However, for this particular example, we want to set this as optional. So what optional tells us is if it's in this location, get it. If it's not, then skip it because it's not there. And that's totally fine for this particular example. So we're just going to right click on the price here and then select it optional, which is the first option here. And boom, the message goes away and Mozenda is now happy and we're able to continue. So another thing important to note is when I created this action, the capture action price, you notice how it's now nested inside of my list, meaning that it's dynamic. So every time it looks at a product name, it's then going to go out and look for the price next to it. If I pull price outside of my list, it's going to capture the same price in the same location over and over and over, and you're going to get the same price. So if you see this in a particular example, you're in a particular list, if you've captured a list of names or products or whatever, and then you've tried to capture another piece of text inside of that, and you see the same name or product or whatever over and over repeated, most likely your action is not nested properly inside of the list. So there could be a number of reasons, and the biggest one would be XPath. And we're not going to go into XPath today, but XPath, we've got some great video tutorials we recently came out with and articles, so check out our help center on that. But we want to make sure that this is always nested, so inside of our pattern or list. Okay, so once we've captured price, we want to now capture the image. So we want to get the image as well. That's right here. So I'm just going to click on the image, and you'll notice Mozenda automatically says, hey, this looks like an image URL. Do you want to download it right here, or do you want to capture this image URL? So it's important to note that if you download the image, you're downloading a file, which does cost more processing credits. However, you can just capture the image's URL. So in this particular example, I'm going to capture the image's URL. For those of you who are wondering, I did say it does cost more processing credits to download an image. The processing credit ratio is 2 to 1. So it would be 2 processing credits instead of 1 to download the image, just to give you an idea. But capturing the image URL does not cost extra because it's capturing text. So I'm going to select capture this image URL and call this image, and then select save. Okay. So you'll notice Mozenda is communicating to me and say, oh, something's not right. I'm not finding all of the elements on the page. So what's going on here? So let's take a look and look at our capture text preview. Let's scroll to the top. So it looks like the first image is found, which is great. However, the second image is not found, but I can see clearly that there is an image. So obviously, I do not need to set this action to be optional because there's an image here and Mozenda isn't capturing it. What I need to do is I need to tell Mozenda to redirect its attention to this location, meaning that it hasn't quite found the right pattern for the image. The reason why is because you see this only, that's probably throwing the location of where the image should be down. And so therefore we're not capturing the image according to what Mozenda is looking at. So what I can do is called adding an alternate location, meaning I can tell Mozenda to redirect its attention to this area as well if it can't find the image in the previous spot. So to do this, I'm going to go here and right click on the image, go to location and say add alternate location. You'll notice I'll have several options here to reassign the current location. So basically telling Mozenda to look in a different location, which I don't want to do that because it is capturing some of the images, but it also needs to look in a different location as well. So we're going to add this add alternate location, and I'm just going to select the image that it didn't capture. I'm going to hit that, and bing, that message is now gone, and all of my images are now here for the page. So notice I did not set this action to optional. It is really important, and I'll even go as far as to say imperative, that you do not have all of your actions set as optional. If you have questions on this, feel free to reach out to us as well, and we can go over why that is in more detail, and in particular to your agents and to the data you're trying to scrape. So the next thing we want to capture, for example, would be the rating. I know we have several clients that really like to look at reviews and look into ratings, and so this is a good opportunity to do this as well. So imagine if we were just going for the rating right here. So what I'm going to do is the same process. So we want a nested capture action inside of our list. Same thing as the way we got price and the image. I'm just going to click on the first rating I see and say capture text. Okay, and just call this rating. Okay, so with the rating, we had the same issue. We're not capturing all of the ratings. You can notice there's a blank, which is right here. So we need to go down and find where this blank is by using the capture text preview window. So it said the sixth item doesn't find the rating. So does the sixth item even have a rating? Let's check it out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so it's looking like, yep, this one right here, it does have a rating. So just like with the image, I'm going to add an alternate location. I'm going to go to my location, right click, location, and then add alternate location. I'm going to select this option and then just click on this location. And you'll notice it appears here, and this is no longer red. And I can quickly do a scan through and see that I have all of the ratings now based on their locations. So the ratings were actually found in 2 different places. So Mozenda is now looking at both of those locations. Okay, so I've got rating, image, price. And the last thing I want to get is this one's kind of out of the ordinary. So what we want to do is I want to look and get this open box thing. Is this meaning in this particular example, open box, I'm assuming is just a product that's been opened before, and it gives me the price or if it's available. So in this particular example, you'll notice that some of them have prices or some of them have available or not available. So I want to capture this. So I'm just going to click on it again, same process, inside of my list, capture text, and we're going to say open box. All right, same thing again. Mozenda saying, hey, an element is not found on the page. So if we go through here, is there an open box? Let's look at our capture text preview very quickly. So it looks like there's one missing here, which is the 6th one again. Let's see, 4 point, where is it? There it is. Well, there's no open box there. Okay, we can check another one down a little bit further. See, open box, where is it? Okay, looks like it's in a different location. So yeah, yep, this one doesn't have the open box here. So we know we can check this one now as optional instead of an alternate location because Mozenda is finding the pattern correctly. So once again, I'm just going to right click here and select optional. Now, one thing that we see is that the open box can appear in different places. And one thing that is a best practice to do while you're building your agents is we want Mozinda to look, the keyword here is for a user, when you look at this website and you know, okay, they have an open box available, or the open box price is this. What identifies that? What tells you that there is an open box? The word open box that's present, the open dash box. We want Mozinda to look for that word as well. You can tell Mozinda to do that because currently you're telling Mozinda to look in a specific location based off of where you clicked. However, we can tell Mozinda to look for certain words to go off of that are consistent across. So the word open box is consistent almost on every line. We've checked it as optional, so if it's not there, it won't get it. But we want Mozinda to look for this word and then grab what's next to it. This is a best practice. You'll notice that I don't need to necessarily do that to make that change to get this to work, but it's a best practice and can solve a lot of issues that may arise in the future. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is called associating nearby text. Okay, so remember those options we went to when we right-clicked, we went to the location, and I already talked about reassign and adding an alternate location. However, the last one is associating nearby text. So what text do I want to associate with this field? So I'm going to click this one, and you'll notice it says, okay, what do you want to, so your example kind of gives you an example here. So what do you want to associate with the nearby text? So I'm already capturing available. So this is after you've created your action. Okay, just the same process of right-clicking location, associate nearby text. Now I'm clicking open box. So I'm identifying what I want to associate the nearby text. So I click open box. Mozinda says, okay, the nearby text, it equals open box. Yep, that's what I want. And I'm going to say select save. Okay. You'll notice my data did not change. However, in the background, you'll see, you'll kind of notice it's lightly highlighted. I apologize if you cannot see this, but you'll see that Mozinda's now looking, it's like a light blue. You'll see it's looking for open box on each of the ones. You'll kind of see they're blue now. And so what this means is it's coming to the page, it's looking for that word, and then grabbing whatever's next to it. And this allows, like I was saying, this allows us to solve some issues that may happen in the future. So to kind of sum up this agent and this current process, we've captured, to go over everything, we've captured a list of our product names. So that's the first thing we want to do is we want to look for that pattern. Tell Mozinda to look for the pattern and then or the list, capture that of the product names. And then we captured the price. We found that there wasn't a price on every single one, so we selected and made it optional. You'll see that symbol represented here. The next thing is we wanted to capture the image. However, when we tried to get the image wasn't found for each one, but we redirected it by right-clicking, going to location, and adding the alternate location and clicking on the image. Okay, the next step was the rating, which is a similar situation where it was almost found on all of them, but one of them was missing. And so we did a similar thing where we said add alternate location because we confirmed that it was there. And then finally, the open box was similar to the price where it was not found for every single item. But then we also said look for the word open box and associate the nearby text to allow for a cleaner, more efficient agent. So, and then to wrap things up as a reminder for this particular agent, notice how I only have 2 actions that are set to be optional within this item list. Okay, not everything is set to be optional. This is very important. And the reason why is because we want the agent to communicate to us that if it can't find something, it stops and tells us where it can't find it. And if it's not there, then we can set it as optional. However, if it is there, we want it to stop. So we don't want to set everything to optional. So once I've built my agent and I'm comfortable with all my actions as shown here, now I need to validate it. So obviously you can click into products and you can build out. We don't want to make these agents to be more than 3, 4, 5 pages. We see a lot of customers who tend to try to build everything in one agent. There's multiple ways to do this, and feel free to reach out to your technical consultant or the support team if you have questions about the best way to build your agent for your situation. So, and obviously too, I just want to point out, I'm only capturing a list on this page. I do have the option to add a page list here at the end. So if I select the end list option here, you'll notice this option to add a page list appears, and I can select it. So it's saying, hey, where do you want to do your page list? And I can do on the next arrow. Okay, and then Mozenda will automatically add our page list. Okay, however, for this example and for the sake of time, I do not want to do this because we want to run this agent live. So I'm going to delete this action and leave it only on this page. Once I've built my agent, I need to validate to make sure it works. So remember, the purpose of the agent builder is to preview what the agent is going to be doing and what it's going to be capturing. So preview the data. So to do this, I'm going to go up and select Test Agent up at the top. All right, so now I have the option to start testing it. So what this is going to do is perform the actions and give me exactly what I should see inside of the web console. So I'm going to go here and select Start. So while this is testing, one of the questions I see here, we have somebody on our support line who's answering some of these questions, but I felt like this one's kind of valid while we're in the moment here. Is someone asked, can I download the capture list? Yes, so remember, the point of the agent builder is to preview the agent, the actions we're performing, direct it, and to preview what the data will look like. You're going to download that list inside of the web console, and I'm going to show you the whole process. So once we've tested, and you'll see I've tested here, now this says testing results. It's switched windows from capture text to testing results. And guess what? They look the same. That's the purpose of testing, is to make sure it's all the same. And I have all the information I want in the format I want. Now I'm going to save the agent. Okay, and we're going to call this just webinar example 1. Okay, we're going to save the agent, and this is going to go into my web console or my account. So the next step is we need to run the agent. So for beginners, it's very easy to go in here and just select Run Agent Now. And for this example, we're going to do that. But as you get more experience, you're going to want to play with the configurations. You're going to want to play with the settings to tweak how your agent runs in the web console. But for right now, we're just going to select Run Agent Now. So once I do this, the web console will immediately appear, and it will open up the agent. You'll notice up top here, it will open the agent in my account. Okay? You'll notice that the agent is currently running. Now, when I hit refresh, I should start seeing results. But the first thing you need to check for is, what does this box say right here? This says most recent completed run. If I select this drop-down box, I have two options. I have harvesting results and most recent completed run. There's a big difference between the two. When people are running agents for the first time, you will not see data in the most recent completed run, because this is past tense, meaning data that's already been collected from a previous job or a previous run. So what this means is that my data is not going to appear here while the job is running or active. It's only going to appear in the harvesting results. And you'll see there's my data, because this is the raw data coming in live. However, when the agent is finished running, meaning it goes into a refreshing state, it moves the data based on your configurations to the most recent completed run. And now I see the data here. And so it's really important that when you open up a new agent for the first time and you hit ready and run, that you're looking at the harvesting results, so the raw data that comes in live. So, and you'll notice now I see the same thing in both. So the next step, once I have my data and I validate it and say, yeah, this is exactly how it is on the website or in my builder, and this is what I want to export it manually. So I don't want to publish it yet, but I just want to export it manually. We're going to go through this process. So any of our settings, any of our configurations for an agent within the web console are going to be found within this double gear icon at the top left. So when I select this, I get this new window that pops up and gives me a whole list of different things that I can do. Many of these are pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to cover exporting the data and publishing the data. So I'm going to go to under the data column here and select export, because I want to export the data manually into an Excel file. So I'm going to go here and select export. Mozenda will automatically pick up what to include in the file. Yes, I want to include the most recent completed run, the view, which is the default view found here. I'll leave this alone. And then what's my file format? Do I want it as a CSV, TSV, XML, JSON, or Excel file? I want it as an Excel file. So I'm going to select Excel file and then hit download. And down at the bottom of the screen, no, it's downloading. There we go. Down at the bottom of the screen, I can open it up in Excel and view my data. There it is. And I can do my analysis. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to publish the data. So to publish the data, I'm going to go back up here to the double gear icon again and select publishing underneath the settings column. So we're going to select publishing here. And then I'll see all of my options in which I wish to publish. Okay, so if I don't want to publish any data, I can obviously leave this blank or just select none. But what this does, so let's say, for example, so this is Amazon, Azure Box, Dropbox, and obviously your Google Drive. You can link your Google Drive here. But let's do an email. So once again, similar to exporting the data manually, it's going to ask me what view do I want, the default view, what file format I want. I want to change this to an Excel file. Now here's what's important. When do I want to publish the file? So the agent can automatically publish the file when the agent completes, on a schedule, or manually. So I typically want the agent to send me a file when it completes so I don't have to go into Mozenda and check myself. And I can receive that file on my phone and actually open it up and view the data on my phone, which is pretty neat. And then obviously the email address. If I wanted to add more recipients, I could add just a comma and then the next name. So I'll add myself to this one. Here we go. Okay. And that's how you can add more people to the email address. Let's talk about some of these gears here. So the file format, I can give this a file name. All right, I don't want to go through all the different file names that I can give it, and we have a Help Center article on the different possibilities that you can do. You can put in a field name if you'd like, or the collection name, but I can change the name if it makes it easier for you. Okay, obviously I can go here and I can do some error handling. So if it didn't publish, it can retry again. If there's no data, it can run this agent again. Also, I think I forgot, yes, this is important. If you're storing item history, meaning that you're tracking the history of products. So let's say, in this particular example, I ran this agent every single day on a schedule, but I only wanted to send me new or products that have been added recently to the website or changed, like the price has gone up or down. I can set a setting and say don't publish an empty file if there's nothing added or changed. And we can go over this another time, but this is just an example of do not publish an empty file. So we're going to hit cancel there. Finally, you can obviously in the email address you can set the subject to Mozenda data or webinar data. I'll set that webinar data. So when Reggie and I get this email, we know that this is the data that we got from the webinar, and then I can select save. So the next time this agent runs and it finishes, it will send me or send Reggie and I the data, and you'll see the icon located here that tells me that it's going to publish to an email. So this about wraps up my portion of the webinar and in my example. As always, I am very aware that people have different situations, and there's many different industries that use Mozenda, and so the point of this was once again to go over the actions and some of the best practices here so you can apply them. But if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to us. We love helping you guys. We love architecting solutions for your accounts and to work through these agents because web scraping can be difficult. Websites can be hard, and so we love to help you and we enjoy helping you. So feel free to reach out to us at any time.
Excellent. Thanks, Kenneth. This has been great. There's a lot of questions come in. Let's go ahead and answer a few of those if you don't mind. I'll go ahead and answer this first question. Some people have been asking, is this webinar going to be recorded? And the answer is yes, it will be recorded, and we can email that out to you. So one question we have here is, it looks like someone just has a quick question about how scheduling your agent works. Do you mind answering that, Kenneth?
Absolutely. Yeah, if everyone has a couple seconds, I'll go into that very briefly. So scheduling your agents, same process as when the publishing or exporting manually. We're just going to go back up here to the double gears. Okay, and then instead of going to publishing, I'm going to go to scheduling. Underneath the settings column, I'm just going to select scheduling. Okay, so you'll notice here I have several different options and ways I can publish my data or schedule my agent. Sorry, I can schedule it just once on an interval, so I can have it repeat. The fastest amount of time we can run an agent is every 15 minutes. For an agent like this, that's very possible. So for longer agents, you want to be kind of careful of that, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And then obviously daily. I can repeat every certain amount of days, only on business days, repeat on intervals, from, say I only want it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It can run on that time as well. And then obviously only on weekdays, business days, once a week. I can set it, no, only run on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, repeat on interval as well. That's that option available, as well as monthly. So I can repeat quarterly or every 4 months. So, and then obviously I have the option to repeat on an interval. There's many different options here to play with for when your agents want to run. And we have, like I said, we can run it every 15 minutes all the way to running it once every 4 months. So, yeah, you just have many options that you can use. And once you've done that, you can just select save, and then that agent is scheduled.
Excellent. Thanks, Kenneth. Here's a question here. What's the purpose of the geolocation within the builder that we saw?
Okay, perfect. So the geolocation, this will be very important. So let's talk about really quickly. Let's talk about the web console and the agent builder really quick. Just the difference between the two. So the web console is the cloud application. So this is where all your data is stored, the agents are stored. So this is like on the internet. However, the agent builder is the actual software you download on your computer. So why am I even bringing this up? The reason is because the agent builder is based on your local PC. So there are certain sites for certain countries that the data will change per website. And so what we have is the ability to use the geolocation here to say, actually, if I'm in India, I want to see United States prices for or any site that I want. Or if you're in the United States and you want to see the ability to get prices in euros for a different country to appear as if your agent builder was in that country. So that you can, because the data can change per website. So to quickly go over this feature and how to use it, you can just go up here to use geolocation, and it will give you a list of countries or regions around the world. And these will be locations or IP addresses for that particular location. So if I wanted to see the retail price in Western Europe, I could select the Western Europe region and then say use the geolocation. And then it gives me this wonderful window about the premium harvesting and geolocation, and I can just close it there, and it will immediately put that in. Now you'll notice that it's turned off, so I'll want to turn it on, just that slide there. Okay, and so it will load the page. Now the website will think I'm somewhere in Western Europe, and it's going to give me the information that it puts out for Western Europe. And I believe for this website, nothing changes for Western Europe. So if I had a better example, I could probably get some more, and maybe it'd show euros or whatever the currency is for that particular region.
So it really allows you to access more data in different locations. That was a great question. Thanks for saying that. Let's look at some other questions here. Are you able to clean out some of the data from the web console, some of your past data?
Yeah. So let's go back to the web console here and talk about how to clean data out. So typically, let's assume that I wanted to run this agent again. This has been 2 weeks down the road. I know that prices have changed, and I want to see what the new prices are, just get new data. I don't want to deal with the old data. So if I am not storing item history, so I keep saying this word store item history, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you feel free to go to our help center and look up the documentation on it. But if you're not storing item history, then the data, every single time you run the data, so run the agent, the data will be removed. So it will go from, so the data in here, after the agent has finished running again, this data will be removed and the new data will be added. So you have that ability there. So that's how it's going to clear. It's going to clear out automatically from here. And there's several other places that you can do this as well, but this is kind of the best way if you're not storing item history.
Great, thanks, Kenneth. So we want you to recognize, there is so much you can do with Mozenda, and there's so many different functionalities and capabilities. You can literally do automation, web automation, doing clicks and doing actions, performing actions, loading things into websites for you. Let's just do one more question. There's one that just came in here. Okay, so let's go ahead. It says, how do you get rid of the decimal point in the price field? We'll go ahead and answer this question.
So, by the way, we are looking at a lot of your questions, and we hope that we're able to catch them all before the end of the webinar. They're very good questions, and if you do not get your question answered by the end, we would love to feel free to email into our support team. I've read a ton of the questions, and there a lot of these I know read all the way from, can you use dynamic variables to load URLs? Yes, you can do that. How to use refined captured text, and then we're about to cover that one. And then all the way from splitting up products and doing those different things. These are all features that are available with Mozenda, so feel free to reach out to us. So I think we're going to take this one and then kind of in the webinar from here. So this one's just going to be, let's go back to the agent builder. Okay, we're just going to open up the agent. So let's open up the agent in a different way. Instead of just going to an already opened up agent builder, we're going to select the double gear icon here and select design. So this will open up my current actions that I've already created for this agent. Okay, so the agent builder will open, and you'll see there are all my products for this particular, or all my actions for this particular agent, and I'm on the same page here. Okay, so we're just going to let it load. Okay, so now it's going to load all the actions. Going to wait. Okay, there we go. So the question was, how do I remove the decimal point from the price? So I mean, there's you could say, well, how do I just get the the word sharp and then the inches, or how do I create a separate field for just the inches, or how can I do a separate field for dollars and cents? Or there's many different ways to kind of play with this and different questions you can ask with this. But I'm going to show you for this particular question how to do this through the refined captured text preview. So there's a couple ways to get to refined captured text box. So we're going to be looking at the price. So I'm going to select the price action here on the side. I can either go here and say refine captured text, or I can right click on the price and say refine captured text. So we're going to go here. So this window or this box will appear, and it's going to show me the refined captured text for the price. Okay, so the particular question was, how do I take out the decimal or change the decimal? Let's imagine we want to change the decimal just to a space or something else, or just remove it completely. It doesn't matter. Or I want to add a field or an additional field with a price to change this to dollars and cents. We can do this through the capture definitions found here, selecting this and going here and changing these different capture definitions. So these are ones that Mozenda has already set. It's using regular expression. So we're not expecting you to understand regular expression. It's a system created field for price. However, if I want to remove the decimal and just say don't get the decimal, I can go over to content replacements, select new. So a content replacement is going to replace some sort of text and replace it with something else or nothing at all. And I want to replace a text replacement, and I'm going to take any decimals and remove it. So now I'm just getting this. However, that's a very deceiving price. So I'll probably just replace it with a space. And now you can see here, we're not looking here yet because we need to make a change. So here I can see 129 space 99. However, down here I'm not getting that. I'm only getting 99. And the reason why is because of my capture definition, it's got the decimal still there. So what we want to do is just eliminate the decimal, and we're going to add should be just a space here. Yep, there we go. And so now I'm getting 129 space 99. And if I wanted to include the dollar symbol, I could eliminate this and put that in here. So once again, this is regular expression. We're not expecting you to understand this part, but to just visualize what's going on. And I can add that inside of my field to capture more of the information. So the refine captured text window is a very powerful feature within Mozilla. It allows you to customize what fields you're currently capturing. And you can do that for any of these other captures, for the product name, for the ratings. If I wanted to get how many reviews it had plus the rating, or just the number, doesn't matter. We can use refined captured text.
Thanks, Kenneth. We appreciate you showing us that. As you can see, as Kenneth is showing, there's a lot you can do within Mozenda. We don't expect you to know all of this. It was just a kind of a basic training, but there's a lot you can do. You can really customize your data the way you need to have it. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. We appreciate you being with us. If you have more questions, please feel free to email those to us or to give us a call on our support line. We'll make sure you get those answered. And like I said, this video will be recorded and we'll send that out to you. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you on the next webinar.